Yo, so I know it's been a while, or at least like a week or so. I made a video, and reason being is that I've been trying to figure out which direction I'm going to go in as far as content, um, and how I'm going to present myself and stuff like that. And I still have a million other things I need to do, come up with. Um, but I wanted to make a quick video, maybe not quick, I don't know, but just you know letting people know this is the direction I'm going. I have a story to tell, in this one that I think a lot of people are gonna like. And yeah, so I want to start off by saying the direction I'm going is pretty much kind of the same as where I was, but I want to aim towards helping people, man. And you know, if I can say one thing and help somebody, that's enough for me. Because then that one person may say 15 things that help 15 other people, and it just spreads like a wildfire from there. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's just one person, cool with me. Um, if I gain a following and get some traction and blah blah blah, hell yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. But my goal is to help somebody that may need to hear what I got to say. Um, I may piss some other people off, whatever. If I do that too, cool. Then if I piss you off, then probably deserve to be pissed off because I'm not really going to say or do anything to piss anybody off. So, um, that being said, I wanna I'm gonna go ahead and share my near death experience. Um, it happened during my second open heart surgery. The second open heart surgery, I was getting ready to be, I think I was 28. Uh, I had had my first one a year and a half, 2 years prior, so not very long. That first one, they removed my aortic valve and replaced it with a bovine valve. Um, and so going into this second one, I had a few days to live. I woke up one morning, my right or my left leg could not move, could not feel nothing. It was completely dead. Um, I didn't need to go to the hospital. Went to the hospital uh, in a city called Winchester, Virginia, and they pretty much came in like, "Yeah, you're dying. We're not equipped to take this on. We're gonna send transfer you to UVA, University of Virginia." Um, so I got transferred down there. Um, They did a few things. They found out that I had some teeth that were bad, and that's how I became septic because the bacteria in my teeth or whatever got into my bloodstream. I was doing so many drugs that I didn't realize how sick I was. Um, because I just was just getting through each day because of the drugs. I was up, didn't feel no pain, nothing. Um, which is fucking crazy because you're dying, and I'm doing so many drugs that I don't I don't feel like I'm dying, and so I literally can't walk. Um, so until my body was about to shut down and give out, I was gonna keep on going. Uh, Thankfully that didn't happen. So we fast forward a little bit. They take the teeth out before they do the surgery. They got me on antibiotics and stuff like that. Um, Surgery time. We were supposed to be another aortic valve replacement. I think is what it was supposed to be. Um, and so it's supposed to be 12-hour surgery like the first one. Um, Standard procedure for these, heart surgeons. Just another, day in their world. And they cut into my heart and pretty much collapsed. Um, so when that happened, they had to obviously do a bunch of different shit. It wasn't really it ended up not being like a whole valve replacement. They ended up like reconstructing like part of my heart, the right side of my heart. Um, and they actually left the valve alone, which I didn't know until this last heart surgery I had. I've had three. So last year I had my third one. And I didn't know that they left that valve that they were supposed to go in, and fuck with the second one because it ended up being the valve wasn't messed up. My pieces of my heart were like 8 away. So when my heart collapsed, they put me on this machine called the ECMO machine, and that circulates your blood for you. So my heart wasn't pumping my blood for me. This machine was, um, pretty much keeping me alive. And through this, I think ended up being an 18-hour surgery. They had to put me in a medically induced coma for 6 days. Um, and it was very rough for my family. And obviously I was out of it, so I didn't really know. But for my body, it was rough for my body, and I went through a lot. Um, so the first thing I remember is seeing Vegas, and what I mean, so I was so okay. So as real as my hand is in front of my face, and as real as you're seeing me, and looking at your computer monitor, your phone, however you're seeing me, as real. I want you to understand, as real as everything you're seeing is how real everything I was seeing. So I wake up and I'm in this. It seemed to be like this really high tech, futuristic doctor's office. It wasn't like white walls and like your normal like boring, depressing hospital setting. Like it was very futuristic, very not upbeat, but not scary, not mundane, not boring. It was I explain it, man, just different. And when I looked out this window, I could see what to me it looked like the Vegas Strip, or there's this I've never been to Vegas. I've seen TV shows, and my grandparents lived out there for a while. But I think that there's this part of the strip or something where it's closed and there's lights and stuff that go, you walk underneath of it, and um so that's what I was seeing. And I'm telling people, why are we in Vegas? Something, in my head, I'm thinking something happened during surgery, which it did, but I thought it was something else. Um, and that they flew me out to fucking Las Vegas because what they had to deal with at UVA was like too crazy, and they had to, somebody else had to see me. Um, so I can hear people telling me we're not, but I don't see anybody I recognize. I don't know anybody. Blah blah blah. I can kind of recognize voices at this time, but I kind of heard my family here and there. But I would go in and out of this like state where people would kind of be there and people were not there. So what ended up happening is I would like holler for a nurse, or not holler for a nurse, but like say something, and a nurse would show up. But when this nurse showed up, she would kind of magically just pop up. And when she popped up in midair would be this computer monitor just pop up and out of thin air, and then her keyboard as well would pop up in thin air, and she'd do a couple things, look at me and do a couple things, and looking back, she looked different, but not to where like nothing raised suspicion to me, which is weird. Looking back at it, you think that you would all this would be like, whoa, what the hell is going on? But like you're just natural, you're flowing, like it's just, and I was comfortable. I was at peace. Um, so she pops up, would leave. This went on for a little bit, and then the setting changed, like out of nowhere. And I was anybody who's familiar with jails or prison or anything, or been in some counties, they have bunks, and they're metal bunks. Some jails, I've been to some that have like three, so it's like three bunks or three beds, and that's the highest I've ever been or seen. But in this world, or wherever the fuck I was, um, they were thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands stacked on just up. It kept going up, 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 up. And I was somewhere in the middle, the bottom. I don't know. I was high up, but not to the ceiling or wherever it went. I was not to the top. Um, but also wasn't too low either because when I looked down and looked up, I decided to crawl or make my way out of the bunk and start easing my way down these bunks. So I got to the bottom, took a little while, or what seemed like a little while, and started walking. And okay, the setting for this is I'm never going to be able to describe to you in exact detail. The best I can do is describe to you what us as like humans and physical, beings experience. And if you ever had a dream where things aren't they're not scary, but they're dark. They're it's almost worse than scared. It's a worse feeling than scared for sure. Worse than being doomed, worse than it's dark. It's bad, man. Like but you don't you don't feel that scared feeling. I don't know how to explain it. I'm hoping that some people can be like, "Oh yeah, I know what you mean," but for others, the best way to explain it is just like it's so scary that you're not scared, and I know that makes no sense, but the emotion, the feeling is pulled from your mind. There is no fear. That's how dark it is. Um, and that's how I felt. It felt very unwelcoming, but I didn't like I said, the fear factor was pulled away from me. So I walked in until I found places that I needed to go or felt like I needed to go. So I'm walking and eventually I come up to this like a portal. I guess you could say it's a portal. The best way to describe it. People, it's a circle. Or kind of like it's circle like this. So it's like a the bottom you can still walk. I know that makes no sense, but and then around is the portal or the circle. So sorry. And it's all made of thorns, like real long thorns, and just vines, and like it's all wrapped around each other. Goes like this, and the vines come down off of it and go into like a root system, and behind it is more vines and not like a forest, but like vines and thorny, and it's just real dark and gloomy looking, just real, you know, uh, something you see in a movie, but like even to this day, I've never seen anything really to describe what I saw in a movie. But this is like I said, this is the best way I know how to describe it for people. Um, Stop right here real quick. My near death experience was not one of these ones where it's like God came down and gave me His hand and showed me the perfect world. I knew that there was a sense of awareness, there was a sense um of being, but like some near death experiences have like this overwhelming sense of peace and stuff like this. I had the opposite. Um, so continue on. I walk to this portal. When I get to this portal, I'm in this building. I'm at the top of a building, or maybe like the first floor, second floor, something like that. It's all white, white as bone, white as snow, white as white can get. There's nothing as white on earth as white as this was. And there was a ramp that went down in a spiral. There was a spiral staircase, think of a spiral ramp, and it's going down and down and down. And I look down, and it's thousands of feet down, whatever. And all I can do is just walk. So I start walking down this ramp. I go get that. Even though things are brighter now, you would think that things like lightened up in my mind, but emotionally and stuff, that fear was still pulled, and it was still a very unwelcoming, bad place. So fast forward, I get to the bottom. When I get to the bottom, there's a man, call him that, dressed in all white. Uh, I couldn't describe to you what he looks like because again, it's like I knew he was as a man there or woman. I don't know. It was a figure there. I walked towards this figure, and all it did was kind of raise his hand up and point. So I looked in the direction that it was pointing to, and it was just pointing to this wall. And so, mind you, I'm at the bottom of this ramp. So picture like a basement. I'm in somebody's basement now. And I walk over to the wall. As I'm getting closer, I start seeing things moving in the wall. And I'm like, what is that? So I get closer, get closer. And by the time I get all the way up to the wall, I notice that there's humans bent up and contorted, screaming with their mouth sideways and eyes bugged wide open, and just torturous looking faces on them, like they've been tortured and fucking and treated awfully. Like, I can't describe it, man. It was so bad. These people look so bad that that was the first sense of like fear was there, but still not to the point of like you would think you would see if you seen humans bent up and contorted and stuck in this wall. Um, it was a moment of like, oh shit, but I knew at that moment what I was looking at, and what I was looking at was these people were internally doomed to be the foundation of this building. I don't know what the building was, but they were pieces of this building. This building was living. It was a living thing that was built off other living beings. And um I knew right then and there that I was in some form of like hell. Um and to me, hell is not, I say hell, and I'm not like Christian like religion. So I say hell because a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that. That's not what I believe. I do not believe I was in hell. But for people who will struggle to believe what I'm saying, or relate to what I'm saying, we'll say it was hell. Um, to me, it was a place that I could go if I continued down the road that I was going. Um, and to me, that place is just a place of um overwhelming fear, guilt, shame, anger, all those negative feelings for the rest of eternity. Because I chose to live my life in those feelings, drugging and abusing people and family and stuff, and uh continuing to live my life like that, like I had no purpose. Um and that didn't snap me out of it. I did start to come to life or come back to or whatever after that moment. Um it was still like a moment of like I stepped back, felt through something, and as I fell, I kind of opened my eyes into like a library, but I couldn't get to the library. I was in this hospital bed. So behind me was a ledge, and I was in this bed, and I knew it was a library over there, and I had to get to the library, but I couldn't get to it because I was in this hospital bed, sick or dying or something. Um, and all I wanted to do was get to this library. I knew once I got to the library, like I'd have the answers and I could get out of this place and blah blah blah. But I could never get to the library. Um, and eventually I gave up and just closed my eyes. And when I opened them back up, I was surrounded by my family. um, so like I said, my near death experience, I know it was that because there was a sense of overwhelming like awareness. Like I said, just as real as you're seeing me and I'm seeing all this stuff in my hand in front of my face, like it was real. Um, the only thing that wasn't real, or the only thing that is real, but we don't experience as humans, was the other emotions, like the ones that extracted fear, but left the the I don't know how to explain it, man. Like the outline of fear inside of me, like extracted the emotion, the actual feeling, and left the I don't know. You pick and choose if you can figure out how to describe it a little bit better. Best way I can say it is the fear emotion, the actual human emotion was removed, but mentally it was worse. But anyways, then I came back to my family and stuff, and I don't think I told everybody right away. I've told a few people since then. I've never gone this into detail about it with people. I really wanted to give like you guys the whole experience. Um, and yeah, so what I got from that, man, is that I need to really change my life and find a purpose. And from that point on, I started to live different to a certain extent. Um, 2 years later, I had something terrible happen. My oldest daughter, she lost her mother. That was, my best friend for like 10 years, on and off, kind of. So that took a big piece out of me. And I had a big bump in the road, but we'll get to that another time. But since then, I've been living my life completely different, man. Um, Changed all my old habits, got new habits, good habits. And still got some demons that I fight with, but nothing nothing like it used to be. And I'm proud to say that. And I'm married to my best friend. My kids, that's a whole, like I said, that's a whole. I'm with my son. Got two other daughters. One's a teenager. She is, love hates me, whatever. My other one has a whole different story. But for the most part, man, I'm here for my kids and for my wife and for myself, and hopefully for this to help people. I want to share, uh, what I've been through and stuff, and that way, when I tell you that story, and then I can tell you this is what I took away from it, like this, and that this is where I'm supposed to be today because of it. Hopefully you can grab that and whoever needs to, and like, man, if this dude can do it, then I could do it. Blah blah blah, and run with it, man, because that's what I want to do. So that's what I took from it, man. Like, I'm here for this reason right here. I'm sure there's other reasons, but this right here is what I'm supposed to do. And get my story out there to help other people, man. So I hope that this touches somebody, reaches somebody, helps somebody in some sort of way. Until then, uh, comment, holler at me, talk to me. Facebook, Johnny Malk. Look me up. Um, I'm on Twitch a lot playing Apex. You ever stream or you ever play Apex or play some Apex or whatever? Hit me up. I want to be there for people, man. So like I said, let's and if you got a story to tell and you want to get it out there, I would be glad to talk to you and get your story out there as well. So that being said, y'all take it easy. I'm out.